Shit. I'm the one calling the shots. I don't get stuck in the box. Feel like I've been through a lot.
Jake Paul's boxing career.
All right. First of all, thanks for tuning in. Today we got Nate Diaz reacts to Jake Paul's new training footage. He's shocked. Let's see if this is actually true or if it is clickbait. But I'm willing to bet that Jake Paul has improved, considering he's training with some of the best trainers in the world. And if you see, well, the first fight I saw of him, I'm not sure if that's his debut or not, but the fight he had with the basketball player, with the Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson fight, you can see that his skill level has improved immensely since then. His understanding of movement in the ring, his head movement, his footwork, his timing, everything has improved immensely. So even his cardio, because I've seen some problems with his cardio in the past. The fight he just had, I mean, he was having some problems with cardio in the later rounds, but he has definitely even improved on his cardio. And I'm willing to bet for the Jake Paul's next fight with Nate Diaz, he will further improve. I mean, he's a young guy. Nate Diaz not so much, unfortunately, because Nate Diaz, obviously he's an amazing fighter. He's an amazing UFC fighter, one of the best, amazing cardio. But Father Time has come, and we have to put that into consideration when we're guessing who's going to win the next fight. So let's go ahead and take a look at the training footage.
Has been an interesting watch since his first pro fight against Anderson Gibb in 2020. Many believed he wouldn't be able to beat the people he has up until, of course, Tommy Fury, who dominated him the entire fight. His next opponent is an
Tommy Fury, the one and only actual boxer that Jake Paul fought, right? You got to also put that into consideration. These guys that he's fighting, they're MMA fighters. Yes, they have good stand-up, like, as far as being able to brawl, kick, punch, elbow, all of that stuff, right? But their brains are wired to be able to fight within a combat situation where there's much more possibilities. And when you take away those other possibilities, you actually have to have a certain level of concentration to make sure that you're just punching. I mean, being somebody, myself, who comes from a karate background, and I've also done boxing. I did boxing for a few years. Sometimes when you're in the midst of a combo, your brain wants to throw a kick, and you have to make sure that you don't do that, obviously, because it's illegal in boxing. So there's like certain subconscious patterns that are inside of your brain that Jake Paul's not going to have, because he specializes completely in boxing. So he definitely has a huge advantage there. If you haven't trained different martial arts styles, you may not understand that when you see Jake Paul beating the MMA guys. Oh, they're not as good as I thought they were. It's not true. It's just, it's a different style than they're used to. It's like, I don't know, dancing salsa music, and then you switch from salsa music to line dancing. You're obviously not going to have the same skill set, even though you have rhythm. It's not. It's a different animal.
interesting one, because Nate Diaz has never been KO'd in his entire career. And could Jake Paul be the first to do so? We'll be looking at the pair's most recent training footage for their upcoming fight and who is looking better prepared. So stick around to the end for the full details. Yesterday, Jake Paul posted, Nate Diaz wants 10 rounds. I guess he has good cardio. Okay, Nathan, 10 rounds it is, which, as most of you would know, is definitely better suited to Nate Diaz, as although he smokes like a chimney, his cardio always has remained in top condition. But it seems Nate Diaz isn't trying to do any more rounds than the fight was originally signed for, because he simply responded with, I'm good with 8. For those that don't know, the fight is happening on August 5th, so it's only 2 months away. And it appears that Nate Diaz's biggest rival is picking him in the bout.
What do you think of the Nate Diaz Jake Paul fight?
I think Nate Diaz slaps the head off me. And I look forward to seeing it.
Look forward to seeing. Are you going to go to Dallas August 5th in Dallas? Would you be ringside for that?
Jesus, I'll probably be on the Lamborghini just off the coast of Sicily. I'll be on the Lamborghini off the coast of Sicily.
Hey, but you got Nate though. You're picking Nate.
I think so, Nate. I think Nate.
That's what's up.
Which isn't exactly surprising, considering Conor has almost spent 30 minutes inside the cage with Nate. So there's a level of respect that he would pick him over a YouTuber. But if Nate does end up losing, it's a very bad look for the UFC in general. Make sure you
See, if I'm 100% transparent about my opinion, I much prefer to see Nate Diaz win. The only reason why I'm saying it's a Jake Paul win is because I'm trying to be realistic based on the skill set and the age. So just put that into consideration. I'm definitely not a Nate Diaz hater.
subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell. This way you'll never miss out on any future celebrity videos similar to these. Recently, you even had Connor come out and call Jake Paul a donkey, which was pretty funny to see, and Jake didn't take it lightly. I'm a better boxer than you, Connor, and will do what you couldn't and knock Nate out. After Nate, let's box as the
All right, let's see if we got the training footage anywhere around here. Okay, this looks like there's some training footage. No, not really. Fight, he beat up Anderson Silva. The match was kind of close though. Anderson just got knocked down, unfortunately. Father Time. If Anderson Silva was younger, I doubt he would have lost. Okay.
It's going to be an interesting fight, that's for sure, because Jake is, of course, the younger, stronger fighter, but Diaz has the years of experience and has never been KO'd, so it will be tough for Jake to get him out of there quickly. I can definitely see it going the distance, although if you were to put your money on it, an early Jake Paul stoppage. Next up, we'll see some fighters' predictions for the fight and how they see it panning out. First up, we've got the Diamond Dustin Poirier.
Okay, there's not really much training footage at all, so it is like I suspected. It is clickbait, but that is true. We have that Nate Diaz has way more experience and he's never been knocked out, and like I said, the age thing, it's also subjective because some people, they don't feel the same as other people at the same age. So maybe Nate Diaz might not feel the same as another person who is 36 or 37. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's 37. So it is subjective. It is an individual thing. It has to do with your genetics and how you've taken care of your body. But considering Nate Diaz is a fighter, his body's probably not in the best condition, just being realistic. But it would be nice to see him win.
One of my favorite fighters to watch, where he stated, "Man, Jake's younger, bigger, faster. It's not an easy fight," Poirier said. Just because Nate's a grizzled veteran with the right experience and Jake's a new guy who's on YouTube, he's got the money and the amenities to surround himself with the best people and dedicate himself to fighting. And he's younger and more explosive. And I think Diaz's boxing is good for MMA. It's a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing. Of course, everyone was eager to hear Dana.
See, that's true. Nate Diaz's boxing style is more of a volume boxing style, so he basically just throws tons and tons of punches until the other fighter gets worn down. Now, considering Jake Paul has a power punch, this might give him a bit of trouble, probably a lot of trouble. I don't think Nate Diaz really has a power punch. I think he's just more of a volume guy, like I said. I haven't ever really seen Nate Diaz have very strong power punch. I mean, if you guys have, you can go ahead and send me a link to the video and I'll check it out, but as far as what I've seen, I haven't seen it.
Dana White's response, but he ultimately took a completely different tack and said this.
I know you don't care about any of Jake Paul fights, but I'm sure you care about Nate Diaz fighting, and you know he's making his professional boxing debut against Jake Paul. Do you think Jake's bitten off a bit more than he can chew with Nate?
I don't want to shit on other people's fights, like Oscar De La Huerta. But yeah, no, I don't want to talk about the fight. It's just there's no. First of all, neither guy is my guy. There's just no need for me to comment on it or whatever. I wish them the best. I hope they make $1 zillion.
You could hear the hint of sarcasm at the end there from Dana.
Okay, so yeah, I think Dana Fight is going for the opinion that Jake Paul is probably going to win, which is why he's staying mute on his answer. I don't know. If anybody disagrees, go ahead and give me your reason why you disagree. Like I said, Nate Diaz is an amazing MMA fighter. I'm just not sure about him doing something that's completely boxing, where he has no other tools in his arsenal besides to punch. And I'm not sure how his head movement is either. He tends to get pretty bloodied up in the fights, so it's another issue because it's just straight boxing, so he's not going to have anything to distract the fighter from punching him during the fight. It's a different animal. And I know this just to be honest, because I know people, maybe they won't believe it, but just me, I've done boxing for about, I did it for like 3 or 4 years. I did it during high school, karate, and I fought someone who is an amateur MMA fighter. They actually make money from their fights, but in stand-up I was able to beat them. In an MMA fight, definitely not. But the stand-up skills of somebody who specializes in specifically just stand-up is different from somebody who specializes in using stand-up as a tool to set up a takedown or a submission. It's a different mindset. So that's the reason why. It's not really to say like Jake Paul beats him, Jake Paul has more skills. It's just a different sport, a different mindset, a different set of training tactics, right? Different tools for the arsenal. It's a bit of a difficult thing to switch to if you're not used to it. I'm not sure if I can see Jake Paul losing this one. I mean, that's what he wants. He wants guaranteed wins so he can keep making his money. That's what it's all about. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. Peace.